Well, little tub of maggots, soon to be a little tub of worms, some bread. I think that makes for the perfect recipe for a bit of small stream roving, or should I say brook roving, with the link ledger and the mini feeder rod. See who's at home, try a few likely swims. The water level will be low, but you know, can't wait to get out and do a little bit of roving on this particular little brook, and especially the upper stretches. See if we can pick up some roach, perch, gudgeon, dace, you know, mixed bag as such. Fish in likely areas where the water's holding up, where there is some depth still, and where there is a bit of cover. And just go out with the link ledger and the Drennan mini feeder rod 1 ounce quiver tip. Anyway, without too much blabbering on, let's crack on and let's see who might be at home on some of these lovely swims on this diminutive waterway. Well, finally down this really intimate brook. Travelling light, as you can see, all my bait, a little bit of drink in there as well for myself, bait, a little bit of end tackle, spare batteries, and landing net and link ledger. And that's the Drennan ultralight mini feeder rod 1 ounce tip. Single low resistance run ring with a single SSG shot, and not as compact as I usually go with my reels. I prefer a 500, but this is a Piscifun Honor Reel. I believe it's their Honor 50. It's my first time, well, second time out using it. I did use it at the end of last season, had a nice 6 pound chub on it. Very, very smooth drag, nice and understated. Gun metal grey colour with a little bit of cherry red metallic on the spool. Yeah, seems very smooth, but the proof is in the longevity. So if it lasts a good few years, rough treatment, as my reels do get a bit of treatment that's quite heavy at times, in and out of swims, if it does last that length of time, you know, I'll be more than happy. Well, I do like those. Nice line lay, good amount of ball bearings with this. It's a very nice sturdy bail arm. I do prefer a thickish bail arm to like the aero bails that you do get on some of the Shimanos. I just prefer a chunky bail arm. That's loaded with 6 pound line, starting off on a size 14 hook. I'm going to just chop and change between worms, maggots, red flake. Anyway, it's rather scorchio, so let's crack on and try not to get too roasted. Into the jungle. Could have brought a light fleece with me really, given how overgrown it is, but I'll take the brambles and take the stinging nettles if we can pick up a fish or two. How about that for a gorgeous little brook? Question is how many fish are left in it these days due to the pollution incident that was a good few years back now. Across the river downstream. Try to make as little noise as possible. There's a nice depression here, a nice covered area upstream. I'm just going to roll the bait through here. Remember, I'm just literally searching for any fish. So, anything that might be at home or willing. Speak of the devil. I did say any fish, didn't I? Well, we all know these chaps. If you can think of a greedier fish when you're float fishing in winter time, then do let me know. And yes, that was a terrible pun. Lovely looking tubby minnow. Still, a fish is a fish, as they say. Oh. Another little minnow. I suspect there's a few in this depression. I'm kind of hoping a gudgeon or two is about as well. Brilliant perch live baits these, and decent chub live baits. This one's actually got a real, noticeably so, vivid orange belly. As you'd expect, there's males and obviously females about as well. I'm going to head off further upstream, I think, see if we can find an area where it's just holding a better stamp of other species. Not that I'm putting the minnow down. They're a very, very voracious and vibrant species. Feels a better fish, chaps.
You want something to eat?
Oh, there we go. Not a monster, but I tell you what it is. A lovely gold bar. Nice to have a nice looking chub from a gravelly waterway such as this that has suffered some terrible pollution in the past. It's not to say it won't suffer it again at the hands of Thames Water and their sewage dispersal in the waterway. You know, what isn't seen they think they can get away with. And it's down to us walkers, river anglers and wildlife lovers to make sure that they're kept on their toes and are brought to responsibility. Yeah, lovely bite. It's just on a couple of maggots on the size 14 hook, 1 ounce quiver tip. And I knew it was a better fish when it stuck me under the cow parsley in my near margins. But yeah, beautiful gold chevin. That's where your grandmother is, or your grandfather. But yeah, beautiful. Very, very happy indeed. Let it slip back. Well, by no means, as I say, a monster, but it's beautiful, isn't it? Let it slip back. Godspeed, eh? You think about all what they've got to face. As I say, you think about all what our rivers face in the way of abstraction, pollution, agricultural runoff, phosphor pollution, and not to mention those hidden sewage overflows, of which amount to around about 25,000 in the country, many of which aren't monitored. And you think about little rivers like this where fish are doing their damn best to try and get by, and they've suffered terrible pollution. I mean, what guts me the most with this waterway is, you know, let me just adjust my GoPro. What guts me the most about this waterway, and it really brings me to tears, and it's the fact that there's lots of people that in their own way are culpable. One primarily and one secondary. Primarily Thames Water, who had sewage going from one of their stations at Silchester into this brook. This is the Silchester Brook, or the Foundry Brook, which you've seen me fish on one of my really old videos in winter time. Now, there was around about 27,000 fish killed. And you imagine that on any river, that's a lot of fish. But a brook like this, it's totally devastating, ecological disaster at the maximum kind of level. Now, you've only got to see for yourself. There's mayfly on here. There's lots of invertebrate. Earlier on, I did turn a stone over, and there was some lovely insects underneath. You know, it's full of life as such, full of insect life now. And this is going back when the fish kill was, and it wiped everything out, even the insect population. That was going back about 2010, 2011. Now, since then, there's been a few smaller incidents, which Thames Water wouldn't like anyone to know about. Now, the reason why I say there's a second party that's culpable to a certain extent, obviously a lesser extent, and that's Thames Water. When asked about restocking this, they said they wouldn't restock it with any fish at all. It would have the existing stock that's left after the pollution incident. Now, I don't know what gives them the right to actually make those kind of snap decisions, because you see small rivers that are equally diminutive as this. I know this is a bit smaller in places than the Upper Lee, but why should certain rivers get, you know, doted upon and looked after and cared for, and other ones just get mistreated? It's sickening, and I do think the EA should be forced. They got the money from the fine that they levied on Thames Water, which I think was about 60 or 70,000. I could be a little bit out of range with that, but I believe it was around that amount. They've got the money from that, they've got the funds. Why don't they reinvest it in this waterways ecological system and its biomass of fish? I just, you know, I don't think it's right that they take that money. Obviously they're going to put it to good use, I presume. I am fairly cynical, but it would be nice to see them stock the Silchester Brook or Foundry Brook, you know, with a mixture of dace, roach and chub, and help boost the existing surviving stocks from those pollution incidents. Now, this waterway had some absolutely, it's still got some good fish, pockets, but it used to have some cracking roach and chub on the upper sections, large perch, cracking gudgeon, and believe it or not, as you would expect with the gravel, it's a nice habitat for them, the old barbel. Not so sure about the barbel front these days, but you know, as I say, where there's a will, there's a way. But really, Thames Water, you should really restock this. It's damn not right. You know, you could spend it out of the fine. You could spend 10,000 on restocking with dace, chub, and roach, and that's not going to hurt, is it? Maybe someone from Thames Water, or someone who knows someone from Thames Water, who's watching this video, could put a person's face to this video to watch it and bend their ear, and who knows, maybe we'll see it get restocked one day. In the meantime, I'm just going to mosey on and see if I can pick up a few more fish. Really happy to have that gold, healthy looking chub. Yep. Small chub. Another small chevin. Very, very, very welcome. I do think there'll be some better ones in this spot. I'm going to fish into evening a bit, I feel, and just play it by ear and see if we can tempt a larger stamp. But very, very nice from such a waterway that's so beautiful for its size, and as I say, suffered too much pollution. Oh, John. A bit larger than the last one. Glad to have found this spot. But as is the case with moving through swims, searching along stretches of river, you don't always find them until sometimes later on the trip. Doesn't matter because there's brambles. There's always another time. Hey, hold on there, Mr. Brassy. There's some lovely condition again. The real goldies, and that is because of the high amount of gravel, I suspect anyway. Very nice. Might come out tomorrow evening and have another go along this area. Well, I didn't want a big light on the swim. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, so is come back tomorrow late afternoon or evening and give this spot another fish. So I've had a mixture of chub, some nice looking dace, and a skimmer bream from this swim. So certainly a bit of a holding zone. I'm guessing someone else who's casting the tree and lost the float knows that as well. I mean, they obviously cut this swim back. But yeah, very nice to have found a holding area. And I'm definitely coming back tomorrow evening, or as I say, late afternoon, early evening. But yeah, as I say, didn't want to have a light on the swim because it is a very, very tiny area, quite easy to spook. Although that said, tomorrow I might have the light on very low. There's some better fish rising as well, definitely. And I think it was actually a mixture of chub and trout. So yeah, very, very enticing and very intriguing. As I say, it hasn't got to be big fish, you know, to get enjoyment from your fishing. It can be all shapes, all sizes, and from such a little waterway that's had a lot of issues in the past, to catch a few nicely conditioned fish from the bank, it doesn't matter what the size. Anyway, I'm going to just get the net out and we'll have a little look at some of those. Nicely conditioned silver dart, nice to have on the float actually. Tempted to come and do some trotting along this little area and this swim. I will be back out on the link leisure as it will allow me access to other tight swims. But yeah, nice tubby dace. Like peas in a pod, there's another one. Beautifully conditioned and very fighting fit health. And a very, very diminutive skimmer bream. Lovely. Really nice to see a plethora and multitude of species. And it, as I say, doesn't matter the size. It's beautiful, absolutely wonderful to see. And it really fills this angler's heart with a lot of happiness. Perfection in miniature. Anyway, let's get these slipped back and get back down here tomorrow evening or afternoon. Well, As promised, you wouldn't think it's nearly 7 o'clock and it's absolutely broiling. Not a cloud in the sky, but as promised, back out today to fish this nice holding area on the river. It's a bit of a bowl shape, as you saw near the end of yesterday evening's portion of the video. There was some porky dace there, a few smaller chub, and a welcome skimmer bream. Got some bread with me, extra bread in case I want to use some more mash today. And obviously got bread flake, lobworms, maggots, travelling light once again. And I did actually, shall I say, snap off and have to re-rig, so I've just got a basic link leisure set up today, not a low resistance one, but I'm sure that will suffice. Anyway, as I say, it's absolutely scorching. You wouldn't think it was nearly 7 o'clock, and I am roasting my my boiled egg head off, even with a hat on. Anyway, as I say, I might fish a few other swims, but I'm probably going to stick it out in these 2 swims and just fish into late evening and see what's doing. Lovely condition days, beautiful. Beautiful, lovely portly character, very welcome. Wouldn't mind coming down this section and trotting a float, especially autumn winter time when there's a little bit more flow on perhaps, but yeah, really nice. I'm going to slip this one into the net and see if I can catch a few more fish and maybe a variety and some more of these beautiful days. Mr. Chub. Recognisable beauty spot on the gill plate there. Lovely little brassy chub or chublet, perfectly formed. As I say, most of the fish I reckon will be skulking in this zone and under where the coverage is of the tree, hanging over the water. Yeah, perfect condition and a good companion to the dace. There we go, we've got so far the river anglers trinity, the dace, the chub, and now a welcome juvenile perch. lovely condition again. Obviously not a massive fish, but nice to see him about on this particular river. Or should I say, obviously brook. But yeah, nice to see a few very lively, almost like a bar of soap, stripies about. Oh, oh, I don't know what that was. I'd say it was a trout. Feels like a trout. Yeah, it's a trout. I'm pretty sure that's what I had on earlier at Thames Water. That's a beautiful looking speckly brownie. Oh, that's lovely. Absolutely beautiful. So I thought I saw something cruise along the opposite margin there where the cow parsley is and go into the opposite margin. I was pretty sure it was a trout, as they tend to do at times. Come along the sides for any free evening time insects. Oh, it's lively. Well, that's the turn up for the brooks. Have to excuse me these terrible jokes. But yeah, ignore your bloodline waterways, your brooks and your tributaries. This particular one does feed into the river, can it? Ignore them at your peril and at your own ignorance. Because even on this one, which has had pollution incidents, there are pockets of fish left to be caught. I'm pretty sure this is the same trout that snaffled the worm earlier, tail walked and slipped the hook. But yep, it's a nice looking, lively, like a bar of soap again, brownie. What's good is the light's gone off the water, which is great when it's been such a sunny day. Might pick up a bonus fish or two. That's another trout. Yes, that's a larger one. Talk about frisky. I have to loosen my drag a little bit there. I loosened it a little bit too much there at one point as well. It's a nice stocky brownie. Oh dear. I wouldn't mind finding some of these roach on this river as well. Well, it's another brown trout. Real good fight, good scrap. It's very, very frisky. Largest one. And you know, I know it's on coarse tackle, but the actual fact is, out roving about on the waterway, nice to see these fellas doing good, because it's a sign that there's still life in the river and they are in fine fettle and good condition. Let's get it slipped back. It's a beautiful speckled fish though, isn't it? Well, as is the case this time of year, short nights, long days, and moon's coming up just over the back, and I'm going to fish a bit into the cover, maybe the cover of darkness, but a bit into dusk anyway. I'm tempted to put the light on top of the GoPro so I can show you guys any more fish that I might be, you know, landing or playing, but at the same time it's only a tiny bit of river and I could knock my chances. So what I'm going to do is I'll fish on for a bit and show you any more fish at the end of the video, if I should get any more. But that trout certainly made a mess of the swim, but I have rested it for a good half hour whilst I've had a little snack, a little cereal bar and a little drink. But who knows, we might get some more, we might not. Feels like another trout. Definitely feels like a trout to me. Oh, no, he's gone. So long, thanks for the memories. He slipped the hook, yep. Wow, it's still not really dark, you know, compared to other times of the year. The moon's still just rising to my right, and you can still see a little bit of colour still to the sky. Over the back it's quite red, but yeah. One more bite and that was that brownie, that other one, and that made a bid for freedom, shook its head and threw the hook. But yeah, it's been thoroughly enjoyable. Nice to see that there's, you know, fish still surviving along this little brook, and there's certainly a lot more to still explore. It's been very, very, very enjoyable, as I say, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this little video. As I say, I enjoy all my different aspects of fishing. They don't have to all be monsters to be wonderful to, you know, fish for, and I like all my different sized waterways. But yeah, it would be nice if our capillary waterways were kept an eye on a lot more and not damaged so much by the corporations, by the corporate greed, the likes of Thames Water and other such greedy businesses, such as the River Crane, which was ruined by Heathrow few years back, and other waterways. I can certainly think of quite a few, namely another brook in Slough, if that's Cleveley Brook or Cheveley Brook. I think that had a fish kill a few years back too, and it's just, you know, it's down to us anglers to keep an eye, keep these, excuse my French, keep these bastards who are ruining our waterways and hoping to get away with it and accept the odd fine, because it's cheaper to accept a fine than it is to put the correct infrastructure in place to make sure sewage doesn't get into our, you know, brooks, streams, rivers, etc. And it's up to us to keep an eye out and keep them on their toes, because by God, if we don't, this is just going to get worse and worse. And as I say, we are the eyes and ears of our waterways, and very much the wildlife that resides inside and along them. But yeah, it's been enjoyable. I mean, we've had, what have we had? We've had minnows, some nice stocky dace, chub, skimmer bream, perch, trout, you know, 6 different species. Would be nice to, you know, find some of the roach on this waterway. There were some decent ones in here. I'm talking fish over £1.5, £1.75, and that's a fair old roach on any waterway. But yeah, I'm sure they're in one of the other sections, or might be along in this spot, or just further, you know, upstream. But that's a towel and a trip for another day. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, do consider clicking the thumbs up button. As ever, your support is most appreciated, and very, very, very much so enjoyed by myself. And if you're not subscribed, do take time to hit the subscribe button down below and the bell icon. You'll be kept up to date with all my latest trips and a back catalogue of older videos. Anyway, gonna make a move, mosey back, ouch. Yeah, try not to get eaten alive by mozzies the size of matchboxes. There's a few about, I can tell you. And I shall see you on another trip, another time. Hope your fishing's going good, guys. Take care. Goodbye.